What is up, everybody? This is Zach with New England Sports Talk, and tonight we are going to be recapping Game 6, Houston Rockets versus the Golden State Warriors. Big game. Obviously, if Houston doesn't win, they go home, and that would be, the fifth time in 6 years? They're saying that the Golden State Warriors had had eliminated the Houston Rockets out of the playoffs 4 of the last 5 years, so I guess this year would make it 5 of 6. So insane numbers, insane rivalry, but let's see if they can hold on. And here's the big thing about, before we get into the game here, the big story in this game was the injury to Kevin Durant. He didn't even play tonight. He's not even in Houston, actually. He's still in California right now. And with that leg, left calf strain, I think that's what it was. He's not even playing. So how? And this is the big rap that everybody was saying at that point was, they were saying this all day long. Can Golden State make up for the lack of scoring from missing Kevin Durant? Now, we get it. They've won championships before Kevin Durant, but they also had a much fuller bench at that point. Like Harrison Barnes was a part of the team. David Lee was a part of the team who actually had pretty decent contributions and stuff like that. But the problem is how do you make up not just his scoring, not just his defense, not just throw all that stuff away. Throw away his defense, throw away his points per game, throw away his passing ability, throw away the amount of attention that the defense puts on him. Forget all of that. Just look at his minutes per game. Like, somebody's got to make up those minutes in the rest of the series because Kevin Durant's not going to be coming back this series. And can they do it? Can they get that? Can they win Game 6 so that they can have that extra couple of days of rest before they play, the winner of Portland and Denver in the third round? So, without further ado, guys, that was the big story coming into the game. What's their strategy basically from not having Kevin Durant? Well, it's pretty apparent, obviously with no Kevin Durant and the amount of minutes that he gives up, that he takes up every single night. You have to get your bench involved. You have to get them rolling really quick and really early. And that's exactly what they did. One person in particular, there's a lot of good players by the end of the game that had made their impact on their game, like Iguodala, like normal, or like Livingston as well too. But one of the actually bigger ones that I actually was really, really happy to see was actually Looney. He played really well. Defensive rebounds, putbacks, intensity, tenacity, blocking the ball, just a whole number of different things that he did tonight. He really gave the Warriors that kind of edge and that reliability tonight, especially with the first half that Steph Curry had, and he did not have a good first half. And we'll talk about that here right now. Now, you kind of expect, though, tonight with Houston having the advantage that that they don't have to guard Kevin Durant anymore tonight. You're interested to see not only what's the strategy for Golden State to make up for those minutes, but what's the strategy for Houston. They can play a lot more attention on Steph Curry, on Klay Thompson, on Draymond Green, and Iguodala and those other guys. But are they going to be successful or are they not? Now, how this should play out is Houston should be kind of jumping on them at the get-go and really taking advantage of them in quarter one before Golden State can kind of figure out their bench rotation. That was the complete opposite, though. Like, Golden State didn't necessarily get behind by a lot or anything like that at any point in the first quarter. Their bench kind of, really answered the call, and Houston really couldn't get onto that really early lead. Now, Steph Curry, like I said, he did not have any part of his game in the first half really was that good. Specifically, though, with scoring, he didn't make a single bucket. He was over 5 at halftime going in. Now, one other problem that led into that, though, with Curry was his third foul. It came in about 5 minutes left in the half. He played about 12 minutes there. Like I said, he had 0 points, 0 for 5 shooting, and that's what he would end the first half with as well, too. The big strategy for the Rockets, though, on defense, though, was highlighting and making a specific attention towards Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, as you'd expect, and kind of making them really difficult to get their shots off, double-teaming them as much as possible, because now you don't have to worry about a Kevin Durant catching the ball and dunking on you or pulling up from 30 or whatever and just draining it on you guys. Now, by the end of the half, though, I want to talk about some of the individual numbers here. Klay did have a really good first half, actually. He did end with 21 points. Looney off the bench had 8. That doesn't sound like a lot, but his points were very, very crucial. They came in big buckets, big times, and big momentum. So like momentum plays, so to speak. When Golden State started to stall a little bit, several of those buckets that Looney had really helped them kind of keep the tempo down, keep playing their game, that kind of thing as well. Like I said, Klay had 21 points, Looney had 8, James Harden had 19, and Chris Paul had 11. Chris Paul hasn't really had that great of a series, I'll be honest with you, not to his standards. So you really want to see him, kind of come into his own, especially this game, and make sure that he is a catalyst and a big part of the win tonight. But we'll see how that goes. Now, most team stats, though, throughout the first and second quarter as well, they're basically the same. One kind of outlier that I saw was Houston did shoot 11 of 14 from free throws, and Golden State only shot 2 of 4. So Houston had 10 more free throws than Golden State did. I saw that kind of as an outlier that I wanted to mention, but for the most part, the teams were pretty much identical with their points, their rebounds, their field goal percentage, their assists, all the blocks, all steals, all of it, turnovers as well too. Both teams had a high amount of turnovers tonight, but for the most part, as long as it's even, as long as one person isn't crazy higher than the other, or one team isn't crazy higher than the other, typically you're still at a good position to kind of make a push and make a run for it and win. Now, Golden State did end the game with 17 turnovers. Houston did end the game with 15 turnovers. I wanted to mention that while we were on the subject of the turnovers. Now, jumping into the third quarter, I need to speed up the third quarter a little bit here. Steph Curry does finally get his first basket within a few minutes of the third quarter. By about 2 minutes and 10 seconds left, roughly, Curry did his first 3 as well. So he hit his first field goal, it was a layup, I think that's what it was, with the first few minutes of the third quarter. Last few minutes of the third quarter, though, he gets his first 3. So big time, the big time basket for him to kind of get his momentum back in. He has head back into the game. Chris Paul did have 10 points in that quarter, and by the end of the quarter, Houston had played such a more physical quarter than Golden State did, in my opinion, and that was really led by Chris Paul. I thought Chris Paul played some very physical defense, really tried to lock up Steph Curry as much as he could, dive him for loose balls, things like that as well too. Houston was up by 5 at the end of the quarter. Now, jumping into the fourth quarter here, there's a bunch of kind of things I want to highlight here, some sequences, but before we go over some of the final plays here, I wanted to talk about some individual performances at the end of the game, so the final numbers here. I know I'm kind of skipping around here, guys, but there's a really good last couple sequences that I want to talk over with you guys here, which is the last couple of possessions here in the game, because it was a close game, as you'd expect. So Houston, just kind of highlight Houston here. Harden ended with 35 points, and he had 6 turnovers, though, so that was a big downfall with him. He did a good job as far as getting his teammates involved for the most part, being active on the glass, finding his shots specifically, and making sure he shot efficient as he could. But the 6 turnovers was kind of a little too much. I think that played in a little bit of factor into the ending of this game. Chris Paul did have 27 points and 11 rebounds. Like I said, Chris Paul was balling, especially in the first and third quarter, and also the fourth quarter as well. He didn't do bad, but the first and the third were really his quarters this game. Now with Golden State, though, Steph Curry. I don't know why they're both in the playoffs. I keep getting them mixed up. If I'm doing a Portland video, I say Steph, and then when I'm doing a Golden State video, I'm saying Seth. I don't know why, but Steph Curry had 33 points. And also one big thing for him, especially this came in at the end of the game here, he shot 11 of 11 from free throws. So he was really booking it from the free throw line. That's kind of what you expect with Steph Curry, but I wanted to mention that as well. Klay Thompson had a big-time game as well. He also ended with 27 points, just like Chris Paul did. And he ended with, as far as shooting goes, he shot pretty efficiently. He shot 10 of 20 from the field and 7 of 13 from three-point line. So basically about 50% from the field and almost 50% from the three-point line as well too. Maybe that's a little bit over 50% actually for Klay from the three-point line. So not bad. He had 39 minutes, so not bad at all. Also, like I said, Looney had a fantastic game. He had 8 points in the first quarter. He ended with 14. He shot 6 of 8, but fantastic basketball by him. He's definitely, I will be surprised if he's done on this team next year. I know that they are going to try to re-sign, star players and all that stuff, but as far as having another piece on their bench, Looney in this game, for real, had a pretty good game, and I think that's exactly what they noticed, and they're going to keep on building off of and making sure that he's there because he's contributing. He's contributing really well. Draymond Green had a fantastic game as well too. Almost had the triple-double. He's a few stats off. 8 points, 7 assists, and 10 rebounds. We're going to go over these sequences here at the end and talk about that a little bit because Draymond Green had a massive part to play in the ending of the game. So I'll kind of run through this with you guys as you're seeing it on here. About 4:40 left, though, I wanted to mention about the Draymond Green block he had on Capella. Big-time block. They got the whole thing rolling essentially at that point. And I want to pick up where we left off at about 3:40, so about a minute later. Now, Draymond Green had assisted to Looney. He passed the ball to Looney, got an easy layup. Right after that, Klay Thompson was guarding Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon goes to drive the ball to go up for a layup, and then he ties up the ball, so he gets a good jump ball. And I want to go through, by the way, all of this so that you can see how many times I'm saying the name Draymond Green, because he's in a lot of this here. So Klay does his part as far as kind of tying up the ball whenever Eric Gordon goes up for his layup attempt, and then that makes it a jump ball. Now, right after that, Klay pounces off the ball, but Draymond Green gets a rebound. He gets the tip from Klay. Right after that, Curry hits a big-time three as he's falling down as well, but that was special because Green had set the screen for him. I would say it's screen, but it's maybe more of a give and go at the three-point line. But regardless, Draymond Green with the assist came in big time for Steph Curry on that shot. Right after that, Harden does answer with his own three as well, right over Curry when he gets the ball back. Golden State gets the ball back after Harden's three, and Green does go up for a layup, but he misses it. But he draws. But right after that, when Houston gets the ball back, he draws an offensive foul on Harden. So he misses the layup, but he goes and he's so aggressive. He gets the offensive foul on the other end in the next possession, and they get the ball back. Now Curry does get an easy layup and then at that point the Golden State Warriors go up by about 4. Chris Paul gets his answer by getting a layup. After that, Curry gets the ball. He hits a huge three over CP3. I said Chris Paul 3. I use CP3 as kind of my abbreviation, obviously. So Curry hit a big-time three over CP3. And then right after he hits that three, Houston goes to try to inbound the ball. And then Klay Thompson, who else, steals the ball, gets the ball to Draymond Green. Draymond Green passes it right back to Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson shoots the three, but he misses. But there was still good ball movement by Green. Did a fantastic court awareness. He's so unselfish. It's not even funny. Right after that, though, James Harden goes up for a layup. He makes it, obviously. He's automatic from the layups. Klay Thompson does get the ball back, and he makes up for the missed three he just had and hits a big-time three with about 36 seconds left in the game. And then right after that, Gerald Green gets blocked by Looney on a three-point attempt. Right after that, basically, it was just exchanging free throws and exchanging threes. And the final score ended up being Golden State 118 to Houston's 113. So Golden State gets the win in Game 6. Again, not what a lot of people were expecting. A lot of people were thinking that Houston was going to be able to take care of business with no Kevin Durant, bring it back to Game 7 to Oracle Arena, and it didn't happen. Houston was able to get the win tonight, guys. That was my Game 6 recap. Make sure before you get off this video to hit the like button, smash the subscribe button if you haven't already, and leave a comment on what you thought about the game tonight. See you guys.